Is however a word? Every spell check autofill I come across does not recognize this word. However, in speech I find it used quite often as in, how have you been? How have you been? So is this an accepted contraction or not? What about these? Where have you been? What have you been up to? Who've you been talking to?
MS Word 2010 seems to recognize have as in a have you been, while Firefox tries to correct it to who've. Google Ngram Viewer shows these in reasonably common usage, especially in more recent decades, but not nearly as often as their uncontracted counterparts, which makes sense for books. These seem to be in line with a would've, an explicit example in the Chicago Manual of Style as a word. Finally, remember the most important consideration is whether or not the intended meaning behind your communication will be clear in the context you're communicating. In most cases, the intended meaning of these contractions will be clear.
I think that the term however should be recognized as a word by Google Docs and other sites, as it is a nuisance dealing with the red line indicating that it's not a word. Why do the words when, where, why, and what get to have the word have connected to them as a contraction, but however does not? Why doth the words with WH at the start of them get special treatment, whereas the word how doth not? However has every right and reasonable reason to be a conjunction and in the dictionary. I rest my case.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.